All right, so we've got a few more things to talk about regarding UFC 297. Of course, Dricus became the first South African champion that we've seen in the UFC. And since then, there's been a few more developments that I'm going to go through today. Number one, Sean Strickland's not happy. He took to Instagram. He kind of gave a reason for why that cut open, said that Dricus is using illegal blows. He's sticking the old headbutt on him, the Glasgow kiss, okay? Illegal moves to win the fight, to take rounds off him. And Sean was essentially fighting with one eye and he was blind. That's impossible. Also, Dricus had the best comeback ever. Khamzat Chimaev spoke up. He did an interview. He said it's
number one bullshit
if he does not get title fight because he was promised it when he beat Kamaru Usman. And Garry has also jumped on the bandwagon and he is talking shit to Dricus and to Sean Strickland, saying the pair of them look like a couple of pissheads outside a pub on a wet night in Manchester.
If you want some, I'll give it you.
So let's start off with Sean Strickland, okay? So he's watched the fight and he's highlighted a section of the fight on his Instagram. You can see it here. And here's what he said. He said, I didn't take the coward's way out and tell the doctor that I couldn't see and get a no contest. The only reason why you took a round from me is because I couldn't see. I won that fight. The world knows I won that fight. The belt they gave you will never make you a champion. They had to stitch through muscle to get it closed, okay? And then Dricus comes back in the comment section and goes, why don't you cry about it again? And I'm telling you what, there it is. That's a 10-8. That's a 10-8 for Dricus Du Plessis. It's his first ever title defense. Listen, Sean, right? You've just got to accept it. It was a great fight. A lot of people are still split. I did my podcast yesterday with Anthony Smith. He had it for Strickland.
I'm kind of catching a lot of shit for this, but I really thought Sean won 4 rounds. I really did. I didn't. And that's not saying that it wasn't a close fight. I thought they were very, very close rounds. But at the end, I thought it was 4-1 Sean.
A lot of people had it for Dricus, right? People are split. It was a close fight. It wasn't a robbery. It could have gone either way. That's just the way it is. A lot of people say you got to beat the champ, okay, to take the belt, okay? That's not in the scoring criteria, okay? Anyway, we talked about that. We've dissected the fight itself. Sadly, in mixed martial arts, this happens sometimes. When you're out there and you're throwing punches, kicks, knees, and elbows, when you're picking people up, you're slamming them on the ground. Sometimes inadvertent elbows might connect. You might get a sly little headbutt. Not on purpose. A clash of heads is what they call it. A clash of heads, not a headbutt. A headbutt is intentional. A clash of heads is accidental. And maybe there was an accidental clash of heads, okay? I thought it came from one of the big right hands that Dricus landed. But if we just take Sean's side of it for now, and I'm happy to do that, all right, a clash of heads. It wasn't intentional. The highlight that he showed, the little section, he goes for a single leg, they come up, they clash heads, and it starts to bleed, okay? That's an unfortunate situation. But unfortunately, in mixed martial arts, one of the toughest sports on the planet, things like that happen, and you've just got to roll with it. That's how it goes, okay? And now, I've had it myself. I fought with one eye for many years. So I know how hard it is to fight with one eye. And I guess if you're not used to that and you don't change your approach and things like that, it's very hard to deal with and, pivot on the fly. When I fought Luke Rockhold, I had one eye, right, blind in the other, and then we had a clash of heads and it started bleeding into my good eye. So I was essentially blind. So I do have sympathy. But the reality is these things just happen. And the comeback from Dricus Du Plessis, why don't you cry about it again? As I say, 10-8, 10-7. No, that's a knockout. That's a TKO. Wipe the floor. It's done. But listen, I don't think these guys are done, right? They're going to continue to talk shit. Sean has got a massive fan base behind him. And all he's got to do is win one more fight in the meantime. And he'll get another shot at Dricus or Izzy or whoever it is. So that's that. Khamzat Chimaev, he's not a happy camper right now. Oh no, he did an interview. First of all, on the fight, he thought that Strickland won it.
For me, Strickland won the fight. That was a close fight for both. Nothing special. Nothing making me like, this guy's somebody else.
He said, but it was 50-50. It could have gone either way. He said he didn't see anything special from it and neither man impressed him. But talking about the title fight next For Khamzat, he said, well, Israel Adesanya's out. I don't know when he's coming back. Didn't he say he's not coming back until 2027, something like that? Can't take everything that Izzy says as a legally binding contract, right? He was talking shit. He was taking the piss. He was having a laugh, right? Even if he wasn't, he's changed his mind. All of these guys fought each other, said Khamzat. Only me, who was undefeated and undisputed, 13-0. They promised me the fight after Usman. You are for sure going to fight for the belt if you win. And of course, he did win. And he's saying, I heard that come from Dana's mouth. It came from Dana's mouth. And I don't care if you're a president or something. If you give your word, you have to answer for that. I will be surprised if anybody fights for the title next. That's not me. That was said by Dana White. Of course it was. We all saw it. We saw the news and he did interviews and stuff like that. But then Khamzat got injured. He got injured in the fight with Usman, so that kind of put him on the sidelines for a little bit, okay? And that's kind of what happened to Dricus Du Plessis. Remember when he knocked out Robert Whittaker, he was supposed to fight Israel Adesanya next, but he was injured. Sean Strickland got a shot, and now Dricus is back, okay? So all Khamzat's got to do is stay on the sidelines and wait his turn. That sounds disrespectful. I'm a massive fan of Khamzat. I'm not being disrespectful. Maybe fight someone else in the meantime. Maybe get another win at middleweight, or maybe just wait for the situation to unfold. But you can't just wait on the sidelines for the title fight because it's ever evolving. It's always moving along. Like, look at this situation. Let's just say Dricus fights Izzy next. Sean fights Jared Cannonier next. The winner of that gets a shot at the winner of Izzy and Dricus. And all the while, Khamzat Chimaev is still sitting there waiting for his title fight that was promised. But it was promised, but you couldn't go to Canada and fight because you injured your hand. And that wasn't his fault. So I understand the frustration, but this is just, it's a cruel world that we live in, So there's that. Khamzat, I'm a big fan of this guy. I think that he offers a lot to either one of these guys. Dricus, Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland. He thinks he beats them all, right? And I'd like to see him have a go because we know he's a very, very talented guy, but he's got to figure out that gas tank. And then last but not least, Ian Garry, right? Strickland's not a happy man. Khamzat's not a happy man. Ian Garry is laughing all the way to the bank. He is finding this whole fight Saturday night hilarious, okay? As I said before, he's likening it to two drunks just swinging for a kebab. Americans won't know what that means, but outside a kebab shop, that's where a lot of the fights go down in England late on a Saturday night. Anyway, here's what Ian Garry had to say.
There is no way I ever would have bet against Du Plessis losing this fight, considering he mauled Robert Whittaker. And Sean Strickland isn't half the fighter Robert Whittaker is. Just sloppy boxing. Look, swinging. Look at this. The state of this. Zero technique, just slugging it out now. Oh my God, I feel like I'm watching two amateurs fight. Oh my God. Oh my dear Jesus Christ. If I ever have a fight like that, please tell me to retire.
Okay, let's be honest. On the clip that he was watching, yeah, sloppy stuff. It was sloppy. We saw Strickland just winging wild haymakers. Dricus doing kind of the same. But this is the end of round 5 in a championship fight where both men are giving it their all. They've pretty much got nothing else yet to give. They are digging deep. They're trying to just will themselves to continue fighting. They both want to fall on the floor through sheer exhaustion. They're both hurt. Dricus' face is bust up. Sean Strickland can't see. Dricus has been sticking the nut on, right? They're tired. They're beat up. They're hungry. They want to go home. I want to go home! Right? They're in pain. And they're still going. They're still fighting dick to dick, nipple to nipple. And that's what that looks like at times. And by the way, Dricus, that's just the way he fights anyway. We saw Sean at the start of the fight, laser jab, right? Accurate striking. But as it goes on and you get to those championship fights, that's kind of how it turns out sometimes. When you get tired, you do get a little bit sloppy. But of course, listen, free speech has to be protected. All right? I'm in support of Ian Garry talking shit because why not? Strickland went after him for a long time, and Garry says that he wants to fight Sean Strickland, okay? So there it is. I mean, there could be your next fight, Ian Garry, and that could be Strickland's next fight. And I'll tell you what, with all the heat on this, with all the press that these two have been getting for their online beef, you never know. That could do some big, big numbers. Would you want to see that? Would you want to see Sean Strickland fight Ian Garry? I kind of would. Garry's big enough, tall enough. Sean used to fight at welterweight, right? Usman fought at welterweight. Khamzat fought at welterweight. Dricus used to fight at welterweight. I don't know about that last one, but he might have done. They've all fought at bloody welterweight. But yeah, there it is. There's a few little evolutions there in the story, in the personal side of things. Khamzat, as I said, he's just going to fight. He's just going to fight again. He missed his opportunity because of a damaged hand. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, but it's just the world that we live in. Dricus Du Plessis, one more time, congratulations. Sean Strickland, good effort. Unfortunately, came up on the wrong side of the scorecards. Bitching about the eye, the injury, the headbutt, the clash of heads, being blind in one eye. That sucks. I know all too well, my brother. But you'll be back. His stock did not drop. I think, if anything, his stock went up. Yes, he's not the champion of the world anymore, but he's proven that he can go the distance with Dricus Du Plessis, a man that stopped everybody else, right? He's proven that he's not a flash in the pan. He's proven that it wasn't a fluke against Israel Adesanya, and he's proven that he is right there at the top of the food chain and certainly involved in all of these championship conversations. But the next fight's going to be easy, more than likely. Still, let me know what you think about everything I just said. Subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so, please. And I'll see you soon.